Aloha and welcome to Hawaii. This doesn't look like Hawaii. Most of you would picture lush beaches and tropical rainforests. But in fact, a large percentage of Hawaiian islands receive less than 10 inches of rain annually. This is Hawaii's deserts. So I know you clicked on this video to learn about Hawaii's deserts. This is a geology channel, so that does mean I am going to do a little bit of talking about how these massive volcanoes formed on Hawaii, which is a big part of the equation as to why the deserts are there in the first place. But I understand if you just want to learn about the deserts themselves, so you can go to this point of the video to do so.
Okay, so let's cover the basics. Many of you know that Hawaii is fueled by hotspot volcanism, but few actually know what that means. If you look at a map of Hawaii, you might think that the volcanism is migrating eastward over time, but this is a false assumption. The Hawaiian hotspot has actually remained in the same exact spot since it started erupting up onto the Earth's surface around 80 million years ago. But why is that the case?
Well, it has to do with plate tectonics. The Earth's crust can be separated into plates. These are massive regions of Earth's upper layer known as the lithosphere that move separate from one another. They move due to extending and pulling forces produced at boundaries between plates and large convection currents in the hot inner part of the Earth called the mantle. These currents functionally operate similarly to how water boils in a pot. Hot water at the bottom of the pot rises, and cold water at the top sinks, creating a circular current. So Hawaii's volcanism isn't moving southeast. The plate over the hotspot feeding it, the Pacific plate, is moving northwest.
Okay. So what even is a hotspot?
Going even deeper into the inner Earth, we reach an area known as the outer core. This region is composed of an extremely hot metallic fluid, reaching temperatures around 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit or around 5,500 degrees Celsius, the same temperature as the surface of the sun. The boundary between the outer core and the lower mantle is usually fairly stagnant, but occasionally superheated pockets of the outer core can rapidly melt large sections of the lower mantle, which cause massive amounts of magma to rise upwards, which we call mantle plumes. These mantle plumes rise and eventually pool up under the aforementioned lithosphere and essentially lock in place, supplying a consistent large flow of magma to the overlying lithosphere above it. This plume, now called a hotspot, sits in a place where the lithosphere moves above it.
Okay, so there you have it. We have a hotspot and we have a migrating oceanic tectonic plate. So now let's talk about the volcanoes that compose Hawaii.
Welcome to Haleakala Crater, which actually isn't a crater. It's two massive erosional valleys that linked together long ago, forming this crazy valley that's behind me. Haleakala is a shield volcano, which means that it's a lot of very slow, gentle, oozing type eruptions that layer on top of each other, and over millions of years, you get very impressive shield mountains like this one. But there's also cinder cones inside of this valley here. Cinder cones form via strombolian type eruptions, or fountain eruptions, that look really cool. Check this GIF out. Anyway, enjoy that view.
So I'm actually referencing the different stages of Hawaiian volcano mountain building. The first stage involves a lot of high volume oozing type eruptions that build up rapidly, depressing the ocean crust below it, but growing so fast that they overcome that depression rate and eventually break the sea level barrier. They continue to grow rapidly up to stage 2, where eruptions become a tad more high energy but hold less volume. This produces those fountain eruptions I mentioned earlier. Then stage 3 occurs, where volcanism halts and erosion starts kicking in. Then stage 4, where volcanism reinitiates but noticeably starts occurring farther and farther away from the original erupting center, because the Pacific plate is always moving and therefore shifting the newly formed volcano away from where the hotspot is.
Okay, so there you have it. The Hawaiian island chain and how it formed. Now we're going to talk about how this relates to the subject of this video, Hawaii's deserts.
The massive volcano-building quality of the hotspot that feeds Hawaii's volcanism produces some absolutely giant shield volcanoes. Mauna Kea on the Big Island, from its base several miles under the ocean to its tip a couple miles above the ocean, actually makes it the largest mountain on Earth from base to tip. Some of these volcanoes stick out above sea level over 13,000 feet. These mountains create a massive rain shadow. What is a rain shadow?
The primary driver for Hawaiian storms is a wind current known as the trade winds. The trade winds blow storms in from the northeast to east, which means that the eastern sides of the islands tend to get the bulk of the rain. Welcome to the summit of Haleakala. As storms blow in from the northeast, pulled by the trade winds, they encounter these giant mountains like Haleakala and Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea in the distance on the Big Island. These mountains act as catcher's mitts. They catch the storms, preventing high amounts of precipitation from making it to their western sides. This is what we call a rain shadow effect, and it can be observed all over the world. Parts of Hawaii can look truly devoid of life. Take this area, for instance. Almost looks like I'm in like Star Trek or something. Because we're on the western side of the island right now, huge mountains to the east block the rain that could be coming in from the trade winds and leave this area with a meager sum, less than 10 inches a year. But it's hard to argue that it's not still very stunning.
Now, this may seem hard to believe. Parts of Hawaii are undeniably tropical after all.
Hawaii is known for receiving quite a large amount of rain. Here, near Hana and Maui, these mountains can receive upwards of 200 inches of rain annually. Storms blow in from the northeast, depositing truly massive amounts of rain. This rain is deposited in the porous volcanic rock and then shoots out through springs. This leads to the formation of some pretty epic waterfalls.
This is why Hawaii is even more fascinating than it lets on. If you look at a map of the islands, you can see the staggering effect that the rain shadow effect has, causing some islands like Kaho'olawe to be almost completely desert, because they sit behind the towering shield volcanoes of the Big Island and Maui.
Generally, what constitutes a desert is up for some debate, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to describe it as an area that receives less than 10 inches of rain annually and is chock full of dry vegetation.
If you take a look at this map, you can clearly see that there are several large regions of the Hawaiian Islands that do not receive greater than 10 inches of rain annually, and this is further exacerbated by wind. Hawaiian Islands can be functionally split into two sides, a windward side and a leeward side. The windward side is the side that faces the trade winds that blow in storms from the northeast, so therefore they receive the bulk of Hawaii's rain. The leeward side gets all the wind associated with storms, and sometimes this wind is even worse because the momentum wind can gain going between the volcanoes or down their immense slopes. But they get none of the rain that the eastern side gets. Wind without rain on the leeward side wicks moisture out of plentiful grasses, most of which are invasive and not indigenous to the island. The grasses cover the majority of the western sides, and dry, plentiful grasses paired with strong winds creates an ideal mix for truly devastating fire conditions.
The western side of Hawaiian Islands can experience some truly hellish fires, and this was seen very prominently in 2023 in the Lahaina fire, where several people lost their lives and homes. So I'm going to ask that you guys check out the link that I put in the description down below, where there's some resources that you can donate to help the still ongoing repair efforts. Thank you.
The rest of the western side is covered in a mix of indigenous and non-indigenous plant species. Iconic trees like coconut palms and banyan trees shake in the steady winds. Bougainvillea and hibiscus can be found thriving in the volcanic soil. All of these conditions and flora culminate in the beautiful deserts of Hawaii, an unexpected wonder on these tropical Pacific islands. Thank you very much for watching this video, and stay tuned for some more natural experiences in the future.